Happy Venus Day, y'all. I hope y'all doing good. It's October. It's Hoodoo Heritage Month. It's spooky season. All right. Um, Man, so the last time I shared a video, it was what? Back in August. And when I shared that video, I initially thought that I would be back on the internet, okay, not long after that. But I had like this whole change in mind because when I shared that video, I was coming out of being sick, right? So, in the being of sick, right, of illness, I I was going through the motions, right, especially in my mind and thinking and my feelings and everything like that, and because it's just like, where did this come from? How, you know? And so I decided, well, let me go back. Actually, after I got better, I started going back to living life how I was living life, right? And it, it just wasn't right. It wasn't right for me, didn't feel right for my home, nothing for my life, how I was operating, how I was moving, anything like that. I feel like I need a mic, right? I hope I can be heard because I know sometimes the iPhones, the iPads, they don't really be picking up. But I hope that I'm speaking loud enough and that y'all can hear what it is I'm saying and that you're not having to turn up the volume too much. Okay, so yeah, one day I just was like, you know what? I just need to get my shit together. All right, I need to get back to me because I had this aha moment like, oh my goodness, I before I got sick, I was always feeling so fatigued, so tired, so um exhausted. Like there was nothing that I could do to like lift my spirits up to really allow me to move forward and have the energy it is that I know I carry. You know, it was like it was completely gone. It was absent. It was always just like, what is going on? Why am I feeling like this all the time? Why can't I handle my life in the way in which I know I can handle my life, right? I wasn't, I don't live a life that I don't want to be living. I don't do things that I don't want to be doing, right? So it was just like, where am I with this? Where am I in my head, in my mind? Um, yes, so I'm going to, before I really get into this, I'm going to try to keep all of this as short as I can, but I just want to update and share and, you know, everything of that nature and really just have this video to be, I guess, an opening, an introduction into some new things that's taking place in very different ways. Okay, so um yeah, I was always, and this was going on for a long time, like for maybe like the past 2 years, right? So what, back in 2023, I think it was, it's either 2023 or I think it was the end of 2023, the end or the beginning of 2024. I went to the doctor, get my yearly physical and to get my blood work and stuff done, and everything was fine. Okay, except for my vitamin D. My vitamin D levels were really low, and that can create a lot of fatigue in the body and just a lot of other things. But even once I started um, doing more to, I don't want to say fix it, but balance it out, it still wasn't helping. I was taking my vitamin D every day, was taking other different minerals, you know, spending my time outside, you know, going on my walks and doing my yoga and everything like that. And um, it was just really difficult for me to function. Um, so what, in 2022 we moved out of our last apartment and we stayed with my parents for a little while, for like a year and some months, and then we moved. So before we had even, this was going on back when we were staying at our old place, right? So maybe since like maybe 2020, maybe 2021. So, and I can't even say it was probably even before then. You know, I just was not feeling myself, right? I know age plays a role on the body in how it is that we are needing to take care of and nourish ourselves more and be more active in order to keep up ourselves and being fit and being able to be cognitive and functional and present, you know. But after I had my son, a lot of life changed. Like we started experiencing a lot of ups and downs. So I'm gonna intertwine a lot of human design in this because it's necessary. All right, so my son, he has it's either a right angle or a left angle. I think it's a right angle cross of alignment. And what I'm learning from human design is when children come into the dynamic of the energetic sphere, whatever their cross is, right, it affects the energy of what's already taking place, what's going on, right? So let's say after your parents had you, they started having different things happening which made them change their life. And that's because you came and you were the influence, right? And majority of the time, these influences that we bring, they're seeking to create order to some degree by whichever way that your cross expresses itself, right? Because a cross can have many levels to it, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4 have the same unconscious sun and earth, unconscious moon and earth, but in different levels, or vice versa. Like it's a lot within it, right? So he has a cross of alignment, right? And the alignment that it's bringing forth is one that's going of a direction of progression of where the world is going, where the energetic frequency of reality, the universe, is moving toward. So what he requires in life is something that my husband and I were already attempting to work towards, but it wasn't moving in a way that that we needed it to, because there was just so many different things that we needed to really be focused on that we weren't. Like just a lot of distractions, a lot of caring about things that we should not have been caring about, just a lot of stuff, right? So, and I'm gonna come to that later, soon. Okay, so then, okay, the children, the influence that they bring, right? So also, after giving birth, I didn't have a lot of support, right? I'm the type of person, like, I don't really have a lot of people in my life. I have a big family, but I was really in a place where, you know, I just live a different life and I just want to keep the peace of the life that I live without anybody else's influence or however. Not that I would not have just been supported as me, you know, but where my mind was, which wasn't in a healthy place about it, it put me in that position, right? So these things all building up, right? So I went through my Saturn return and, you know, just having all these different experiences. It was a lot, right? So I needed to be taking care of myself better. I needed to be having more active movement, right? Then I had these influences around me that people I was paying to learn from, right, who were not giving the best example for me, right? So it's really important for us to make sure that we are connecting with the right teachers, especially when it comes to the spiritual path. So looking at all of this from a spiritual and a physical perspective, well, it's actually very holistic because I really had to go through and correct many things. So, and it was on all levels. So just the influences from that I was learning from others, right? Just, you know, then feeling some kind of way about myself, about the way I live and what I do. Like I said, I have a big family and I'm the only person in my family who practices hoodoo. Okay. who is a root worker. Granted, like I said, again, I have a big family, and I don't know if there is someone who does, and it's quietly kept, right? But that was a lot of playing in my mind, of worrying, not just of my family, just other people that um, I possibly used to know, or people who didn't know me, and judging, right? And feeling some way, and thinking some way of that, whether it was true or not, So it just brought me to many places, like in to some like within the realm of root work and hoodoo. um there's a lot of suspicion, right? And it's garnered, its growth has uh really lent lends to that, right? To Of the suspicion, like, oh, something wrong with me, somebody must be hexing me, right? When in reality, sometimes we can be the person who is crossing us up. But also, knowing a lot of Christian folk, right? A lot of Jesus people. I guess that's the best way to put it. Uh, Something I always say is, don't nobody hex somebody, don't nobody curse somebody more than a Jesus loving praying woman, right? Because the prayers that you have for someone else may not be for them. And you're trying to place something in their life that can turn that shit upside down, or pull them in a different direction that is, or it creates a cognitive dissonance, right? Because it's an influence that's being put out there. um, Praying to God, praying to Christ, like that is, it's the same thing as saying thank you spirit, thank you universe. These are the same energies, right? Because it's being seen as the all that is. So wherever you're coming from, and whatever um, wording that you use to name it, to place it, it's the same thing. It's just a different form of connection, belief. However, it makes me think about this video I recently seen about how the Pope is, he's really spreading that we all pray to the same God, and there are many paths, all paths lead to Rome, all roads lead to Rome, right? So yeah, but we not there yet collectively, and that's causing a lot of ruckus in reality for the Pope to be saying something like that. But whatever, we're not talking about that. So yeah, all this time I have been really feeling some kind of way, just not feeling well, right? And really trying to figure out, like, what's wrong. Am I doing something wrong? Am I living wrong? Am I what is it? I keep trying all these things, I keep doing all these things, and it's not helping. It's nothing is helping. It'll help a little bit, it'll help for a little while, and then I'll do something and it'll get right back to the way it was. So after I got sick, I just had a lot of thoughts. Like, every time something very detrimental, something very strenuous happens to my body, I get into this mode where I'm giving thanks, and you know having gratitude, and just sending a lot of love. Because when I'm feeling that way, it's like, okay, this is the end, because I don't ever feel this way, kind of thing. So I'm just like, okay, let me give my rights out. Let me send my love out in case this is it. But afterwards, I got back to living my life, and I was still feeling that way. I did realize that being unwell all that time really gave me a minute to give my body a break from the digestion, from just everything. Give my organs a time to relax, and processing so many things. And I don't eat a lot of different things. I try to stick. So once I was well, and getting back to life and everything like that, I realized, I was like, things need to change. Things need to change. And I had this revelation like, damn, I wake up every morning and I'm up for everybody but me. I'm waking up for everybody but me. Granted, I get up, I would sit for a bit, I would, take a shower, take a bath, I'd do my cards and do my little, just jotting that down. I stopped that really before we even moved over here, right? And just really not giving to myself in the way that I needed to. My routines, my rituals had completely fell off for real, and it was showing. So what I did was I wrote down me a schedule, and I was like, I am going to make these rituals, bring these things back into my life that worked so well for me, and I'm going to get my shit together, because if not, I'm not going to be able to function out here, So with that, it was just a progress of things, and I didn't intend to stay away from reality for so long, but I did, and I really needed to come back to myself. Without me being near me, there was no everything else for real, right? So I got back to my getting up at 4 a.m., sitting at my altar, doing my breathing work, doing my breath work, my meditation, my chanting, my praying, my journaling, right? Making sure that I was writing down my dreams and doing my divination and really doing the things that bring me so much nourishment, and really allow myself to reconnect with source for real, because um, it helped me see like source is the energy, the source is the source, the divine is the source, right? That is where I get my source from, my strength from the divine and being connected to it. Okay, I want to share this book. If you're looking into or needing or curious about breath work, this book, Light on Pranayama by BKS Iyengar. This book was given to me when I got my yoga certification, but it talks about all types of different breath works, like in positions and movements that you can do and why they work and what they do for you, and it breaks it down all the way to the organ system and just everything. It's a good book. Okay, so yeah, look into that if you're interested in pranayama, in breath work for real. That's really a book for those who are really wanting to know the details, right, of it. If you just want to do some breath work, watch a YouTube video. But if you want to know the ins and the outs of it, that's a good book to have. So yeah, I started getting on my daily rituals, my routines, taking care of myself, really getting ready for the day. So I did that for 21 days, right? And halfway through that 21 days, I was like, okay, it's time for me to start incorporating other things. So I started getting back to my yoga, incorporating Pilates. Okay, what else? I started getting ready for the day. Like, I don't care if I'm not going nowhere. I don't care if nobody see me. Like, I'm getting ready. And I'm doing it for me, and I'm putting on what I want to put on. I'm looking how I want to look, right? Because if I don't have that, then I don't have anything to give, right? If I'm not feeling good about what I'm in, what I'm doing, how I'm living, life just ain't living. Life ain't lifing, okay? And in this time, like, I took a fall back from everything and pretty much everyone. Like, I was barely communicating with my friends who at one point I was talking to every single day, pretty much all day, checking messages, going back and forth, kikiing on everything, so I really had to switch up the dynamic of what was taking place, what was going on, and then food wise, just eating healthier, making more juices, making more, I had incorporated smoothies, but I don't really like smoothies like that. So I just eat the food, eat the smoothie food, the smoothie components in food form. Okay, so and my body does better with cooked fruit than raw fruit. So yes. Anywho, um, I just been getting my shit together, y'all. All right. After that, after I incorporated the, getting ready for the day, right? I started reintegrating my son's schoolwork, homeschooling, right? And getting that organized. And I'm still really um, getting in alignment with that, right? So because I recently came like to this aha moment, like I need to be journaling these things. I need to document these things so I can have a better idea on what it is that he likes and he doesn't like, what's working, what's not working, right? Because it can be kind of difficult to have him engaged in the work. He's a generator. And what in generators, they really need everything to be fun for them, to be engaged in it, for them to absorb it and really learn it, right? So, with that is meant for me to be able to witness him in the way that I know how, in the way that I do well, and work with his energy so he can then grow up to be able to do the same thing, right? And not have things be a force, right? And him being unhappy, right? And or having a bad relationship with learning, with growth, with living in a way that is good for him. So finding out what's healthy for him on all fronts, for real. So with that, I also I also implemented evening things, right? Switching up our bedtime, for real, so that I can be able to get up at the time. What's up? Okay. So that I can be able to get up at the time that I need to get up to be in my devotion. For so long I kept getting this card saying I needed to put something new on the altar, right? What is it that I was spending too much time on? And what I needed to put on the altar was myself, okay? Because it just made sense, okay? There is no way for me to grow without honoring myself, for me to be present, be here, and it's interesting. Being a mother, being a wife, right? Staying at home, that's something you gotta want to do. And I think it's irresponsible for people to always be trying to convince women who don't want that to want that. Because it's a lot of work, and you have to be able to find the way and the means to be able to do both, right? To be able to be yourself and take care of yourself and take care of all that as well. And some people just don't have that inkling, not that inkling. Sometimes some people just don't have that in them, or some people have the desire to do it and don't know how. And that's probably something that's needing to be taught more than anything, assisting women how to go from being a maiden to becoming a mother and a wife in the ways that works best for them, in the ways that they really want to, So with that, what else changed? Oh yes, so my services. I absolutely love being of service. I would do it for free if I could. For real. Like, I would be okay with people not paying me to help them get to the depths of who it is that they are, because there is magic there, there is love there, there's growth there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, for me, there's nothing else like that. There is no being able to be happy in life without really knowing who the fuck it is that you are, and just really being able to grow and love and live and doing this stuff, doing these things from your depths, from your core self, right? And knowing that what it is that you're living is truly what is for you, you know, what it is that you truly want. And that you're not living up to anybody else's expectation, or that you're not living out of a state of being, of your influences, your conditioning that you've experienced from childhood on up. And you know, just being able to provide those things for people have been so very humbling for me, so very enriching, right? But that too was also adding to the burnout. It was also adding to not feeling well, to the fatigue. I was doing too much, right? Just doing way too much, giving too much away, and wasn't being filled up enough by my own self, right? So with my services, right now my website is down, and I'm leaving it down for a little while because I'm not ready to be back of service to others. And I've made some changes. I've taken a lot of things off of my website. I've removed a lot of services. I'll only be doing like one or two things, like my store, and one or two other things. And it's interesting that these changes, I find it so enlightening. So maybe the word is magical, of how all this took place, right? Because before all these changes needed to come, so I had these clients, right, that woke me up to me and my boundaries and what I allowed, and how I was showing up, and how much I was giving, and in that giving, what I was allowing in them, and how they showed up, right? And in that, it had me already beginning to make. Okay, guys, so my tablet, it stopped again because of the storage issue. Because you'll notice when you're watching this through that there's kind of like a split in between half of it, and that's what happened the first time. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but I was just saying that all of that really led to the changes that I made previously, before all of this, that led up to all of this, you know, still trying to show up in the same way I was showing up, but just changing the services and things of that nature. I have been being shown that there was a road that it was time for me to go down, and I was being very resistant to it, and that played a big role in it, you know. So just with all the routines and order that I've been bringing, you know, just applying a lot of root work and really undoing everything, you know, that has been in the way, you know, for me, for my life, my husband, my entire family, you know. And things, they feel good, you know, like I'm happy, I feel pleasant, I feel at peace, at home in me, and I'm really grateful for, you know, the choosing to take the time to love up on myself, right? Because ain't nobody gonna love you like you love you, and if you not loving you, you gonna always perceive that ain't nobody loving you, right? That's another thing, because people can definitely be loving you, but if you are, however you thinking about yourself, you're gonna project that somebody else is thinking that way about you, and eventually they will, because you cast that message out for long enough, and it will become their thought, right? That's just how energy flows and goes, you know. So yeah, y'all, I will be sharing some videos, some things coming up very soon. I don't want to say very soon. I don't know how soon. Won't be going back to creating content in the way that I was before. I will be sharing some reels and things like that, and you know, just making videos of chatting with you guys. And I have an idea that I have been kind of playing around with, on the fence of, that is just something fun for me, and seeing just how that goes, and if it's something that I end up enjoying doing and other people enjoy it as well, I'll keep continuing to do it. But that'll be coming soon. All right. And yeah, y'all, thank you for sitting here with me. This came out much longer than I expected, but thank you for listening. If you have anything you want to share, be sure to let me know what's up in the comments. And yes, I hope you are having a beautiful fall. One of my favorite seasons, aside from winter. I love the feminine seasons. They're so perfect to me. Okay, so yes, y'all, I'll talk to y'all very soon, and bye for now.